So you have a lot of different interests and you pursued a lot of them, but you ended up quitting most of them. And because you're not able to tell the difference between something that is wrong for you and you should quit today and something that just got a little bit hard and is actually the right thing for you to do, but you still ended up quitting because it got hard. And because you're not able to tell the difference, you take all the classic advice that you see on Instagram to your heart, the classic don't push through, don't quit stuff. You end up to feel like a failure because you quit so many of your different interests and you can't tell if it was the right thing to quit or if it was the wrong thing to quit. And I was in the same position and it took me a while to understand what the difference is and what are the things that I actually should pursue and not quit, and what are the things that I should quit immediately. And in this video, I'm gonna share my exact thought process on how to see if you should stick with a thing or if you should actually quit a thing without feeling like a failure because you quit it. Okay, so there were a few things I had to understand. So first of all, that if you're a person with a lot of different interests, so a multi-potential like me, then you have a lot of things that get you excited and where you feel enthusiastic about. So it might be about DJing for me, it was business, traveling, e-commerce, writing, drawing actually as well. Then I play piano a little bit and so on and so forth. And the thing is, compared to someone that is just able to specialize and has only one thing in life, you have to kind of cycle through these different interests to find the one you actually want to pursue and potentially the one you want to make money with. And because you're not able to see the difference between the interests that you shouldn't pursue and the interests that you actually should stick with, you're kind of running in circles because you end up trying this thing a little bit, then you quit, then you go to the next one, you quit this again, you go to the next one, you quit it again. And because you didn't know if you should actually quit it for good and forever, or if you just quit, was it too hard? I feel like a failure. Should I go back to it? You end up coming after a few years, you're coming back to it and you try it again and you do it again and you do it again. And the thing is, because of it, you end up running in circles and you go nowhere and years pass. And first of all, because you interpret all this quitting and stopping as a bad thing, you feel like a failure, and because you don't have any results and you're not making any money with these things, you also feel like a failure. So, and the end of the song is that you're gonna feel really shitty. That's at least what happened to me. And so, what I needed to understand is, because you have a lot of different interests, you need to try a lot of different things. And most of the stuff you're gonna try will actually not stick, okay? And that's okay. But in order to actually differentiate if you should stick with the thing or if it's not the right thing, you need to focus on getting enough volume in. So this is the first point. And I'm gonna tell you a little story about that. So a few years ago, I started and I was really interested in e-com, okay? So I kind of dreamed of having my own online shop and my own online business and stuff like this, but especially my own shop. And I started to do drop shipping. It's very easy to start. You don't need any capital. It's a good beginner business. So I figured I'm gonna do that. And the thing is, I went into it because I saw a lot of people quitting this thing and not pursuing it. And I saw a lot of videos and I had a mentor and coach and stuff like this. And a lot of people would try. So in order to make money with dropshipping, you have to launch a lot of different products. And at one point, one of these products will be your winning product. The market wants it, the market wants to buy it, and you can scale it up and you can start making money with it. So much so the theory. So in order to win at dropshipping, you need to launch a lot of products. The main mistake a lot of people do is they launch 1, 2, maybe 3 products and then they quit. And they tell themselves, oh, dropshipping didn't work, and they stop doing it. But the problem is that oftentimes they then go on with their life and they move on to the next interest. But then after years, they come back and they still wonder, dropshipping and e-com, would this maybe be my thing? But because they quit too early and they didn't put enough volume, they can't say wholeheartedly, like, this thing is not for me. And what I decided is, okay, if most people do like 2-3 launches in order to decide if this is the thing for them or not. Let me do 15 or 20, I said in the beginning. 15 to 20 launches, okay? And it took me around like a year of focus to do this. And I did. I did 20 launches or 19 or so, but somewhere in that range. And I had a few successes. I did make like some money with it, but not crazy money. And after those 20 launches, I made a very thoughtful decision that e-commerce is not for me. And now I don't need to look back in my life and worry about this because I gave it a really good shot and I can tell that this thing is not for me and I don't like it. Because the thing is, by doing all this volume, first of all, I can circle out that I quit because it wasn't successful. That's what a lot of people do, because if you do a thing and you do it a little bit and you do it in a little bit of shitty quality and you don't even try hard enough, then you don't get results. And because you're not getting results, you kind of lose the passion and the interest for it. You need to get results in order to get hooked on this thing. For example, the other side is when I started my agency, very early on, I got my first client and he paid me like 1K per month. And because I got my client and he was paying me like real money, I got hooked on it really hard. And I was like, okay, I want to get the next client. I want to sell more services and stuff like this. And this went on and I ended up building this because I was so hooked on the results. So I naturally kept going. But if you're not putting enough volume in, you're not going to get results and you're not going to get hooked, and that will make you quit. But because I was putting enough volume in, I got some results and that was kind of taken care of. So that was not the reason I quit. The second thing is that while I was doing all this volume, I realized I absolutely hate doing this. I just hate it. Every single time I open up my ads manager and my Shopify store, I felt drained, like immediately. I had like a 50% decrease in my energy just by starting to work on this thing. And I could have noticed this maybe earlier. It was on the way. And I saw it after like 10, 12 launches. I realized like, hey, this thing is actually making me really tired and I feel like shitty afterwards, even though I was getting some results. But after I put in enough volume and I got results and I was like, man, this makes me just tired and I think I don't want this and it doesn't align with my values so much. And because I put in the volume, and I was like, okay, when I put in the volume, I will do my best and I will actually try. I will not bullshit myself and put in like half-assed effort. I will actually try doing this thing and winning at this thing. But after those 3 things, I was like, this is not for me and I'ma quit this shit. I don't like it, okay? And the thing is, because I went through all these different things and I put in enough volume, that's the main thing here, I was able to quit and tell myself like, well, I didn't quit because I didn't succeed or any of the bullshit you see on Instagram. I quit because I genuinely tried it and I don't like it and I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm cool. I have peace. And I can make a really big check on e-commerce like this. I was like, okay, we can just cross this out. I don't need to ever worry about this thing. I just don't like doing the work. Okay, so now I can go to the next one. And the other thing is, with my agency, I did, for example, do enough volume and I did like 30 sales calls or something. That was kind of the thing. I want to have like 30 strategy sessions or something before I decide that this is not the thing for me to do. Same with the YouTube stuff. I didn't do 2 videos. I was like, I'm gonna do this for 30 days in a row and then I can decide if I want to continue this or not. But at least 30 videos. You need some kind of volume measurement and it needs to be high enough. 2 or 3 is not enough. You need to do like 20 or 30 depending on what the work is. But for example, if you want to learn music production, set the goal of making like 30 finished songs before you actually decide if this is the thing for you or not. But don't quit after like trying one shitty song and then you're like, well, this isn't for me. And then you move on to the next one and you keep running in this cycle, okay? You need to do enough volume. Then the second thing, I already touched on this a little bit, but you need to watch your energy, okay? Energy plus values, okay? So kind of the internal stuff. So let's assume you're doing enough volume like I was doing with the e-commerce, and I was putting out my launches every week. I was launching a product. I was giving it my all. And while I was doing this work and this volume, I was always checking in on my energy, okay? And it's very simple to look at it. Like, do I have more energy doing this thing, or do I have less energy doing this thing? And especially if you do this volume, you have enough data points to actually make a calculated decision if this is the thing for you or not, okay? So you always want to check in, but not too early, after a while. Like, how do I feel? Is this energizing me or draining me, okay? And the second thing is, you want to check in with your values. So you want to be aware of your values and what's most important in your life, and have kind of like a list of like 3 to 5 points that you can always put on your desk, and you can look at it whenever you make some kind of decisions, okay? And when you do this work and you actually see what is involved in doing this thing, okay, you want to match this with your values, and you want to look at your values. So for example, with the drop shipping, one of my values, and that's really important to me, is like quality over quantity. So I want to make good stuff instead of just pretty much pumping out trash. And in drop shipping, you're not really focused so much on quality and creating something new. And quality is, for me as well, not just copying someone else, but actually being original and putting my own quality and thought into this and creating something myself. But in dropshipping, you pretty much just look on what's selling right now online, and then you pretty much copy everything else to like 80-90%, and you launch it in your market. That's the entire business model pretty much. But I didn't like it, and it kind of interfered with my values, and it was like not aligning and harmonizing with my values, because I wanted to create something new. I wanted to be different, do something that's of quality, and oftentimes you would sell like shitty products in a way. And I wanted to actually be proud of what I put out, and that didn't align with my values. So that was another thing that after I did all these launches, I was like, well, this actually does not align with my values. I'm also not really being that different. I'm also not really being the best where I can create something new. And all these different things came together, and I was like, this is not the thing for me. I gave it my all. I tried my best, and we can quit. Okay. But on the other thing is, when you're not quitting, is first of all, when you didn't do enough volume, when you tried like 2-3 times, and especially if it gives you energy and you feel aligned. If this is the case, and it's just gotten a little bit hard, because everything does over time, then you stick with it and you push yourself to do more volume and focus on your energy and values, especially if it aligns with your values and you knew this beforehand, and you kind of get the feedback, hey, this really aligns with my values. I like the work, it energizes me. Then keep doing it and put in more volume, okay?